distinguished critic once said of comedian Milt Kamen that he has a sublime sense of the ridiculous. Well, Milt himself says that he's somewhat offbeat, but on or offbeat, he's definitely on the beat. He's one of the funniest folk commentators on the current scene, Mr. Milt Kamen.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here and see so many people nice and relaxed. In New York and San Francisco, everywhere you go, everyone's very tense. I don't know why. I'm not a cab driver. But I think it's on account of the missiles. I'm not a scientist, but I have something I can offer about the missiles. I do have something to offer. I'm not a scientist. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little nervous, but that's all. But, well, I could have been a scientist, but I failed mathematics, high school. Rotten teacher. Oh, I remember the whole class failed. We're all about 14 years old, you know, naive. And the teacher's name was Miss Finnegan. I never forgot her. Nice-looking lady, but when we came into class, she said a few things about an isosceles triangle. So we all giggled, you know. We were smart. We knew about triangles. And then when she had us all laughing, she said, "Children, parallel lines never meet." Well, you don't tell that to kids. Right away, the girls began to cry, you know. Not the fellas. We were athletes. We didn't want to show our emotions, you know. So we went to the back of the room. We started to drink ink, you know. We got in a blue funk. We didn't care what happened, you know. Come on, baby, tell us about the triangles. We got a But even though I'm not a scientist, I think I know something that was done wrong with the missiles. We've given them wrong names. They're too big. Names like Jupiter, Atlas, Vanguard. And when you read about it in the headlines, it comes out, "Vanguard fails." And you go, ugh. You know. But if the names were simple names like Sam or Irving, then you'd read the headline. It would say, "Irving fails." You'd say, "Ha, I knew he would." But I do study science in the typical layman way. I go to the movies. You know, they have them on TV now, all these science fiction movies, you know, these terrible monster movies about the monster that ate the Bronx. These funny kind of movies, you know. It didn't hold it down. Anyhow, but I want to tell you about a movie that I saw in New York. It's coming to the rest of the country. They try it out there first. Well, it's the most frightening science fiction movie I ever saw. It's not like any other monster movie. It starts out, fools you. Somewhere in Kansas, a little farm, and there's a tremendous hothouse. They're experimenting with different kinds of foods, you know, because of the population explosion. And it shows you doctors are walking around in white suits, you know, listening to the onions, you know, see how everything is going, you know, and kidding around with the nurses. Well, yeah. What happens the next morning, the whole hothouse, it shows it's smashed. And they say, "What happened?" And they look around, they said, "One of the tomatoes escaped." And the scene shifts to a town, and you see a shadow forming on top of the town, and the people are running around petrified, and they're screaming, "Look, a tomato is coming!" And sure enough, a tremendous tomato, 80 stories high, just grew like that. Tremendous red, you know, with a little green over here, you know. A rotten tomato. And it turns out this tomato doesn't like people. That's luck. And it starts to attack the people by spritzing them with tomato juice. And it gets tomato juice all over the people, and the people want to fight back. But did you ever get ketchup all over your clothes? You don't care anymore. You want to go home and change. You know. Anyhow, it's too late. It's too late. Once the tomato juice hits the people, they become vitamized. They become the slaves of the tomato. And you see the whole town walking around like zombies, all of them bringing lettuce to the tomato. And here and there, a wise guy wants to get on the good side of the tomato, brings a little mayonnaise, you know. Meanwhile, they shoot bullets into the tomato, loves everything. You know, it smashes into the factories, frees the smaller tomatoes. They run around spritzing children. And now, all over the country, the vegetables start to revolt. They know they have a leader, the tomato. So it shows you scenes of housewives trying to cut cucumbers. And the cucumbers are going, ha, 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 ha. And I wouldn't tell you what the celery stalks are doing. I couldn't even mention it. Anyhow, what happens now is they declare martial law throughout the land. And they fly in a man from the State Department with an attaché case. And everyone steps back, and he walks forward with an attaché case full of money. And he offers the tomato money to go away. And the tomato takes the money and doesn't go away. It's like real life, this movie. So now the Army gets a tremendous idea. And if you've ever been in the Army, you know how dangerous that can be. Anyhow, what happens, they decide they're going to set fire to the tomato. That's the idea. And they surround the tomato, and they bring up hundreds of hoses full of alcohol, and they start spraying. Tomato doesn't know what it is, spritzes back. Suddenly, the alcohol mixes with the tomato juice, and the air is flooded with Bloody Marys everywhere. Go see it, go see it. It's called I Was a Teenage Tomato. Thank you. Good night.